Hi, I'm Ashleigh Morghan, and I'm currently on Grand Crew on NBC, so you can check that out on Peacock as well. I have a rom-com coming up called The Pact, and I am writing an immersive play with some of my friends. First thing I would say is train. And everyone always says that, but in order to get better at any craft, like just train. Continue to work on your craft, continue to be better. Trust yourself, trust your instincts. Don't feel like you need to mold yourself into someone else. You are the best thing you can gift your craft. So staying honored, staying true, staying genuine to yourself is a huge tip I would give to people. Don't change who you are because who you are is what's going to get you work. It's interesting, I've heard like people like don't spend money on taping. So I do both. I tape at my house, but I also go to a place called the Actors Collective in LA, and I go to the Actors Concierge. Um, I miss the idea of walking into a room and doing an audition. And sometimes it puts me in that same energy if I go somewhere. Sometimes I feel like I'm a little too lax at my house. And having the idea that I have a certain amount of time allows me to make more specific choices and not rely on the fact that I can do this 100 times if I want to. I'm like, no, make a choice, commit to it, have your intention, send your action, know who you're talking to, and be prepared and be ready. Right at home, again, I feel like I have like a little bit more lax. And I'm like distracted by my dog, or I'll hear like a plane or whatever. So I do like to go to self-tape, but also at home, I think I need to redo it, but I have two soft boxes. I have a ring light in the center. I put a gray background on my wall that I put into the wall, so I'm not having to take down and put up a different backdrop. And then I have like my camera and my tripod right in the center. And I try to keep it a little bit further away because I've noticed the further away it is, the more even it looks with the lighting. Sometimes I use a mic, sometimes I don't. But yeah, that's my at-home setup. Yeah, I like being able to walk into, I mean, yes, you can do that at home, and I do it at home. But sometimes if there's, it's for me, I like not having to worry about the logistics. I like not having to worry about, I did a great take, but I forgot about my sound. I did a great take, but the framing was off. I did a great take, but the lighting was not as not as bright as I would like it to be, and not having to worry about anything but my work. Sometimes for me, especially if I have like a 12-page audition, if I can walk into a space, everything is taken care of for me, and all I have to do is focus on the craft, that for me takes a lot of stress off of me. So that's why I personally enjoy paying for it sometimes, not always. And especially if it's affordable, I'm not saying to do it all the time because it can get kind of costly, but if you have a longer audition or you have a lot of movement or you have a lot of things in your audition, sometimes it's nice not having to worry about any of like the logistics behind it. So memorization differs. For me, I focus more on like how I learn opposed to like this is how I memorize, because I learn through repetition. So for me, I start by reading through it a few times, having an understanding of what's going on. I will write out the script because there's something about a pen to paper, and then I just go over the lines over and over again, which is why I love WeAudition actually. I use it, I use my readers as in my rehearsal process. So if I'm just trying to get through the lines and just hear it a different way or just play it with different ways or have different intentions, I enjoy just going through the script multiple times. And the more you say something, it's like a song. The more you sing it, then you start to learn the lyrics. The same thing with your script. The more you say it, the more the words start becoming embedded into your body. You're not like trying to memorize it. You just have said it enough. You've read it enough that it's just within you. So I do it as much as I can until I'm like off book, or I feel like I have a deep understanding of what's happening. And I know that that process is different for everybody, but for me, the more repetition I get, the more I understand what I'm saying. I do games. I do games with the words. I'll do like physicality with the words. And sometimes having the physicality attached to the words helps me memorize what I'm saying or what's going to be said next. And learning the other lines of the other person. So then you know what gets you into your lines. This is my first time at Cannes. I've been to Sundance multiple times. It's so interesting, like being in a festival when you don't have a project is interesting. It's interesting on both parts. When you have a project, it's all about that. You need to focus on like marketing and meeting people and seeing your film and talking about your film. When you don't have a project at the festival, it allows you to have more freedom to explore. So for me, like some of the highs have been just, genuinely meeting people. I kind of feel like I'm an extrovert, but I always feel like I don't ever feel like I'm being evasive to someone's personal space. So I've tried to find a way that feels more authentic and genuine to me. And that's just meeting people organically without any expectation. I've met people who aren't even in who or in more like a different part of the entertainment that might not be beneficial to me, but I'm just meeting people. I don't have an expectation. I'm genuinely just meeting people, and that's kind of been my goal. The parties, the events, the panels, the screenings are high. I think the only low for me is the rain. What is this? I'm ready for my dresses. I feel like the rain, but you know, I feel like overall it's been a great experience, and this year for me was more about learning the lay of the land, where everything is, how to get to places, what I need to be wearing, how to communicate with people, what kind of people are here. So the next year I'll know exactly how to operate at the festival and what works best for me. Man, you know, like I said, I've used it for auditions, but I use it primarily in my rehearsal process, because like sometimes, you know, I don't feel like calling up my friends like, can you run? I do. Can you run this with me? But sometimes I want like just a longer time. I just hop on WeAudition. There's always someone available, which is what I love about WeAudition. Like working, if you have a day job, like sometimes I wouldn't get off work till really late, but I need to rehearse. I'd hop on WeAudition. There's always someone available because there's people from all over the world. So having that availability, consistency, and reliability has been super beneficial towards my career. As well as actually, we had the audition party. I met one of the actors I worked with on there that helped him with his audition, and it's just fun to meet people and to help. It's like, you know, we're a community of creatives and collectives, and being able to help other creatives is so fun and beneficial. And I learned so much being the actor, but also being the reader, and that's my favorite thing about WeAudition. You get to be both. Why choose when you can have them both? Just kidding. I think it's important to have a good reader in your audition, because that can change how you deliver and send action and send intention. If someone's kind of bland or not giving you anything, but I always feel like you can work with that. If someone's not giving me anything, I can then use different tactics to get what I want out of them. Or if they are giving me what I need, then it's like I can play with that. So I think there's something beneficial about having someone who's maybe not the best reader, because you can play into that as well. And sometimes when you're on set, not everybody's going to be giving you what you need. So it's good to have a balance of both, so you know how to operate in both situations. But I feel like having a good reader is more beneficial towards your audition, because you're able to play off them a little bit better than you are someone who's not a good reader. And I feel like I don't know what a good reader is, you know, but I guess I see it as someone who is attentive, who's giving me things to work with as an actor. But again, if someone's not, I can still play with that. So like I'm just like trying to find ways to be creative, to use different tactics, and to get my goal as a character throughout the scene.